ChatGPT came out 2 years ago and business owners are finally understanding how to use it to their advantage. But if you've heard of the power of AI and you haven't gotten started yet, well, today's your lucky day. In the next 20 minutes, I'll show you exactly how you can build your first AI automation in Airtable. And the best part, we're building it for sales, which means that as soon as this video ends, you can start making money using this automation. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Paiva and I build AI solutions for businesses. And the solution that I'm going to be sharing with you guys is actually something that I built for a client. But this use case can be used in a variety of different industries and a variety of different companies because we're doing outbound messaging. And obviously, we're using AI to personalize it exactly how we want it. So before we get into it, why don't I show you how it works in the real world? So what you're looking at on the screen is a dashboard of interactions that was built in Airtable. And I built this for a client who sells to Airbnb businesses. And essentially what they wanted to do is that they wanted to sell either cleaning services or property management services to Airbnb hosts. So I created a whole system in the back end that essentially found and matched information from Airbnb hosts to their Facebook profile. And now we are on the interaction stage. So we need to create and send personalized interactions to have meaningful conversations with these hosts. So let's assume that in this scenario, I am the salesperson in charge of doing this outreach at that business, right? I would log into my Airtable account and this would be the default dashboard that I see, right? And over here, we have interactions that are to do. So interactions that I either need to do today or tomorrow. And then here I have overdue interactions. These are interactions that I should have done in the past couple of days. Now, as you guys can see, there's a lot more overdue than to do. But just for the sake of this example, let's just keep it with the to do. In this scenario, I'm not a very good salesperson because I'm letting these messages slide in this case. Also, these status are automatically updated based on the date that these interactions need to happen. We also have an interactions calendar over here. But I'm not going to overcomplicate it for this video. We're going to keep it beginner friendly and let's just look at this view over here. So I just got into the office and I need to start doing my interactions first thing in the morning. So the first thing that I would do, I would click on this to do interaction. And what does this tell me? It tells me what type of interaction I'm doing and who am I sending this interaction to. So in this case, I'm sending my initial contact to Brandon. And then over here, we have two main fields. This is the Facebook link for Brandon, and we have also a personalized message. And as you guys can see, this message is kind of empty right now. This is because the way Airtable is structured is that we need to request that message to be created or request the AI to go to work every time that we're creating this interaction. And we also have 20 other hidden fields that we're using to gather information to feed into this AI system. But without further ado, the only thing that you would need to do would be to click on this link over here and then generate a message. That link will take you straight to the Facebook page from Brandon. And this message will be personalized using Brandon's information for us to talk to them. So let's see what AI came up with. It says, "Hi Brandon, I hope you're doing well. I noticed your impressive host rating of 4.87. Congratulations on maintaining such a high standard. It's clear that your dedication to making guest stays as comfortable as possible really shines through. I wonder if there's anything we could work on together. Best Dan." So I was like, okay, this is pretty decent. This is a message that we can send, but maybe I don't want to include the "I hope you're doing well" because that kind of gives it away that it's AI generated. So I can remove that. And then instead of saying just "it shines through," I want to say "it shines through in your reviews." So we can go and edit that. But if we were happy with the initial message, we could have just copy this, and then once we have this link over here, paste it into the conversation and sent it right away. So instead of having to use a template or rely on a template where we're just changing a placeholder that says name to Brandon's name, we're actually having AI do all of that and create personalized message based on the information that we previously scraped. Now, let's say that I do this interaction right away. What would happen then is that I would move this initial contact right over here to done. And as soon as I do that, I would move on to my next to-do interaction. But I actually built the system to be a little bit smarter than usual systems, and it will already schedule our follow-up for us. So from here, let me just refresh the page. So within a couple of seconds, we have our follow-up number 1 for Brandon. And this is actually scheduled for a couple of days from now. I hid this field, but as you can see over here on the date, it is scheduled for the 23rd. And today I am recording on the 21st. So it is scheduled for 2 days after the initial message, assuming that the person won't respond to the first message. Now, let's say it is 2 days after, we can just go ahead and generate a second message that will be completely different from the one that we sent. So this one says, "Hi Brandon, I wanted to follow up on my previous message. I was looking at your list in St. Louis and I was struck how inviting it looks. It must be such a hit with the guests. And then it talks a little bit about the rating, and it says, I'm also hosting around the area and had some thoughts on how you could improve your listing. Can I send you a quick Loom showing you? So this is like a follow-up message that is already a little bit more salesy, offering like a free asset. And the salesperson in this scenario can just come over here, copy this, and send it right away. Oh, I actually regenerated the message, but that's okay. And then we would be able to just send that follow-up message. Now, if you've worked in sales in the past, you probably know that a lot of messages that get replied are messages that are personalized to that specific person. Messages that are just templated don't really have a huge advantage. And that's why this system is really valuable for sales teams like this. Now, the next step for this system would be to have it auto send these messages for us, either via email or in this scenario via Facebook, whatever it would fit best the company that we're building this for. But because I promised myself I would keep this beginner friendly, let's just focus on how to build this for you today. So now that you've seen how a salesperson would use the system on a day-to-day, what information do you actually need to make the system work? Well, number one, you need data scraped about your potential lead. So in this context, we're looking at a lot of things about the host. And then also you need information about what you want to say to that person. So you need templates and examples of good messages that were sent in the past. So with these two things, you're going to be able to create a personalized prompt to create that message. Now, going back on the information that we need, for this purpose, we're looking at Airbnb hosts, like I said. So we're looking at their host description, their host rating, if they're a super host or not, what type of listings do they have under their belt, is someone co-hosting with them on those listings, what's the rating on those listings. So we've scraped all that information before right over here in this big table, and we've matched to their Facebook profile as well. So here we have their host about, the highlights of the host, if the match was confirmed, when it was confirmed, and another 19 hidden fields that we're not showing right away. And the same thing goes for the Airbnb listings. We have each and every rating that we have for that listing. So listing on or rating for their communication, rating for the guest satisfaction, the location, the reviews count, and everything in between. Here, for example, I was filtering by properties that had a cleanliness score of less than 4.5, because maybe you want to sell cleaning services. Now, obviously, if you're working in a B2B setting, we would be looking at different types of data. Like maybe, for example, you are selling to hospitals or you're selling to big medical device companies and you want to know what industry they're in, what type of doctors they are, what's the company size, what's the estimated revenue, what's the team or department that that person is in. And then with all that information, you would be able to feed it to a prompt to generate the proper message to send to that person. And by the way, all of this information that I'm showing to you here, I didn't manually input it. I actually scraped all this information using Apify, and I have a full video explaining how I did that and how I came up with the process of actually scraping all that information and finding the Facebook profiles and matching one to the other. So if you're interested in finding out about that because it could be useful for you, I'm just going to leave it right over there. But now let's talk about interaction templates. Maybe in your sales process, you have an initial contact via email, and then a call, and then a second contact via email, and then a LinkedIn connection request. Whatever it might be, it would be good for you to have the types of messages that you have over here. So this is the very simple table that I created for that purpose. So here we have an initial contact, a follow-up, a first call attempt, and you'll see that this one is empty, and second follow-up, second call attempt, etc. And the idea of this table over here is to have not only the template that you're using, but also good examples. So let's say that you sent 100 messages using this template and you didn't get a single response. You could then change this template or give it a little bit more wiggle room on the template itself. So keep it a little looser so the AI can come up with the messaging. And let's say that in the first message that you send, someone replies right away. So then you would copy that message and include here in the examples, because AIs work perfectly when you have a lot of examples. There's actually studies that show how crazy the increase in quality of responses that you get from AI just by providing good examples to that. You can also include over here in the examples previous good messages that you've sent to a client that have worked. So maybe for one Airbnb host, you mentioned their host rating. Maybe for another Airbnb host, you mention something about the number of properties they have, and you want to include that over here. Or maybe in a follow-up message, you found out that instead of just saying, hey, I just wanted to follow up, that it does better when you say like, hey, I don't know if you saw this message before, or whatever the scenario might be. So including those examples are also a really good way of improving your prompting, which is exactly what we're going to be going over right now. So going back to our main dashboard, what do we need to look at? We need to look at how our prompt is performing. So in order to do that, we're going to go over here and click on edit field. and we'll see the prompt that we're running over here. And this is where the magic happens, if I'm being completely honest with you. So let me select all, copy it over here, and we paste it in a Apple Note so we can see it properly. But before me going over the entire prompt and what information is coming in and what information is going out, why don't I tell you exactly how to create this AI connection over here through Airtable? And in fact, it's really easy because we're using a native connection with Airtable. So you probably have a view that looks like this. It's just a grid view. You would then need to add a column. So click on any column, insert to the right, name this column. We're going to name AI message. And then the only thing that you need to do is to click on long text, because we're selecting our longer form text to create the message that we're going to send. And here we just click on generate values with AI. And then here, Airtable is going to give you two options. It's going to give you an option of starting with a prompt template that you can use to create that message, or to start from scratch. If you don't have any experience with prompting and you don't know how to do it, click on start with a template and look for what type of template you want to use. So maybe you want to create a marketing brief or a tweet from a specific type of information that you have on your Airtable. You can just create on tweet, and it would then ask you what types of information do you want to include. It would be like, oh, let's summarize something that's in our CRM into a tweet. And then from here, you would be able to just select everything. Let's say that you're pulling information from message, and we are including additional fields that are going to be the status and the platform. And we are using like our own examples over here and creating personalized instructions over here. This works really well for the use case that we are looking at of creating personalized messages. Airtable actually doesn't have a specific template for that. So we would then need to start from scratch. So once you click on start from scratch, you can just go to the link in the description below, and you can grab the template that I have for this portion over here. And this is what you're looking at, like the role, the task, the output, context, and data. And this is obviously created for our specific purpose of sending messages to Airbnb hosts. You can put this prompt on ChatGPT and just ask to adapt that to your industry and who you sell to, and it will do that for you. So then you just need to go and copy this information from the link that will be down below and paste it over here, and you have this information ready to go. Now, it's not fully ready to go because we need to connect our other information to this, right? So a good example over here is this portion that says, you will generate an outreach message for an Airbnb host on Facebook. This message is and then it's not complete. So how do you actually complete this? You need to go to this blue plus sign over here, click on the plus sign, and what we were looking for over here, this message is the interaction template. Because in my interaction template, I'm just gonna save this over here really quickly. It says that what type of interaction we're creating. So this message is the initial contact. And then we would go over here and click on edit field. And then the rest of the prompt just reads like, use the following template as inspiration for writing the message, change the template as you see fit. Here's the template or specific instructions for this message. And then from here, we would do the same thing, click plus and go to our message. And this is the actual template that we're using, right? And we would do the same thing over here down in data. And we would just select our host about, our host rating average, and our host name. Now, since this is like a very specific use case for Airbnb specifically, you're going to probably have different fields over here. So this, for example, could be industry. The other one could be company size, and et cetera, company size, and any other information, like maybe a summary about the company and whatever the other one is. And a good like best practice of doing these types of prompts is just creating it with a brief information of what that information actually means. So this one, for example, just says this is the information the host include in the about portion of their profile in Airbnb, or in this case, I'm just fix it to on Airbnb. And then here you would just say like change it to like, oh, this is the industry that the company that we're reaching out to is playing in, or whatever the scenario says. And then from there, we could click save. So once you have your prompt ready, you should have access to this generate button. And I clicked on the generate for the first one. It says unable to generate the sales message. This is because I actually didn't fill out the whole prompt information over here of like adding all of the other fields for host, hosting average, host about, host name, etc. but it would, like this column over here that was previously created, if you just click on any of the generate portions, it will start generating that one for you. Now, let's say you want to like send 50 messages at once and you just want to do it right away. You can also go over here, click on that little arrow and click on generate content for whatever many rows you have on this. And once you click here, you will actually generate like the messages for everyone on that list. And then you can just go really quickly, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Like you see here, there's the Facebook link for everyone over here as well. So the only difference, I'm just gonna move that column over there. It would be like you click here, copy this information, and then paste it on this link, and then we'll do the same thing for all the other ones and kind of just trust the process. I personally like this view better because it's a lot more intuitive and it's not as cluttered as the other one. But if you want to just trust the AI and you see that it's creating the messages that you would like to send, doing this process of the grid view of like copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, and just moving on with that, totally doable as well. I like this one a little bit better because it allows for the salesperson to actually read the message and to be like, I like this part about the message, I don't like this part about the message, let me just change so it sounds a little bit more natural. So if you happen to not use Airtable but you're still watching this video, the good news is that a lot of different CRM systems have this type of tool of just being able to generate a quick message using the information that you have of your client to generate that. But if you don't have it, you can just take a look at my other videos on how to generate these types of messages using make.com. I've covered make.com like extensively at this point, and you can use a lot of the concepts that I talk about in these other videos to create the exact same process, and it would work exactly the same way, right? You click a little button, it runs a little automation with the prompt that we are providing, and you would use that to generate the personalized message. So when you are creating your prompts, just remember to include the key elements of row, task, and examples, and you should be good to create really good personalized messages, which honestly frees up a lot of time of what your salespeople could be doing. Instead of creating messages and sending them personalized outreach every single time, you can get them to focus on having calls and close deals with real people that are already engaged. And this part can become much easier for them to do and consume much less time of their day-to-day. Now, the beauty of creating these systems is that you can take them one step further every single time. So I started by building this whole system by just scraping the internet to find Airbnb host information. Then I added a layer of finding their Facebook profiles. Now I added a layer of creating personalized message. And what's next? I could genuinely create a button within my Airtable that triggers an AI agent that not only sends that message, but monitors for responses, has a follow-up sequence already in place. So once we have all the information, someone just needs to click the button, or we can click it automatically based on a criteria that we set, and everything starts doing and working on its own. Now, AI agents are a completely different topic, and they're definitely going to be really important in the upcoming years, if not decades. So keep that in mind. I have also a playlist covering a couple of agents that I have built in the past, and you can go check it out over here. But I just wanted to hint that at you so you can start thinking about the real things. Now that you've covered the basics of creating personalized messages using AI within your CRM system, in this case Airtable, the next step would definitely be that. And like I said, you can go check out the videos of me building those, or you can just reach out to me and book a call down below. Like, I love talking about the automations that I build. I love talking about artificial intelligence. So even if you don't have an idea on what to build, feel free to reach out. Or if you had any trouble setting this up for yourself and you want me to help you, feel free to reach out as well. Now, if you had any ideas on a full system to get built for your company, book a call with me down below. That's the best way of getting in touch with me. And I'll gladly see if one, your idea is possible, and two, how I can help you make it into a reality. So now that you've figured out how to create personalized messages using AI, what do you do when people start replying? Like I said before, you can create an AI agent that books calls for you. And luckily, I created a video about that, and I'm gonna leave that video right over here. That agent looks at any incoming communication through your email, and if someone wants to book a call with you, it checks your availability in your calendar, and it books that call automatically with that person for you. So now you not only have personalized messages to send to potential clients, but you also have an agent that is booking those calls for you. It's truly amazing stuff. Go check it out. Thank you for watching this video all the way until the end, and I hope you're getting value from this, and let me know if you need anything else from me in the comments below. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.